Happy New Year and welcome back to Mayhem with Maverick, brought to you by Mayhem Studios, LLC. Well, it's 2025. Let me get the first New Year's disclaimer out. Not here to upset you, not here to hurt your feelings. I'm just here to spread information based on what I know, what I've done in my life as a military service member and as a police officer and as a world traveler. Okay, with that being said, if you don't like what you see, that's okay. You can continue to watch or you can move on. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I'm not going to take it personal. If you like what I'm doing, hey, hit like, hit subscribe, and tell your friends and family. All right, so let's get on with it, right? It's been a couple weeks since I've been on. New year. So in the last couple weeks of December, a couple people passed away. Linda Lavin of the TV series Alice from the 70s and 80s passed away. That television show was famous for the saying, "Kiss my grits." It was not Linda's character. It was a redheaded character that always used to say it. But the show revolved around the diner, waitresses, and the cook. Major League Baseball lost a great player. Rickey Henderson passed away. Growing up, I remember Rickey for stealing bases, and my friend Vinny Ellison, it was one of his favorite players. Now, Rickey's famous for playing for the Oakland A's, but he also played for the Yankees. He played for the Mets. Played for the Blue Jays, played for the Red Sox, played for the Dodgers, the Mariners, the Angels, and the Padres. But the majority of his time in baseball, he played for the Oakland Athletics. And while he played baseball, he won the Super Bowl. He won the World Series twice. Don't worry, I'm getting to the Super Bowl thing here in a minute. He was a 10-time All-Star. He had a lot of other awards, but I want to cover his three major baseball records. First record was the most career stolen bases, 1,406, and that was always amazing to watch. His second is the most career runs at 2,295, and his third is most stolen bases in a season, 130. Let me tell you, when you saw him leave first base or leave second base or leave any base to steal a base, you knew it was going to happen, and it was amazing. He was just awesome baseball player, and baseball will not be the same without Rickey. Greg Gumbel of the CBS Sports Broadcasting passed away. He was a big sportscaster, 80s, 90s. His brother's a newscaster, Bryant Gumbel. Paul Hogan of the infamous Crocodile Dundee, he passed away. He's famous for saying, "That's not a knife, that's a knife." That saying has so many adaptations, it's not even funny. I've seen it in cartoons. I've seen it in other movies. That's not a gun. This is a gun. That saying will be infamous in culture forever. Loved watching his movies. And the 39th president, Jimmy Carter, passed away at 100 years old. He was a naval officer who served in the submarine force and served on 2 submarines. He also, what I like to tell my son is he was a peanut farmer. So I used to tell him he went from the peanut farm to the White House. What an amazing thing, right? Humble beginnings to the highest office in the land. That's what's great about this country, folks. You can start off small and still become big, no matter what you want to do. Now, granted, somebody somewhere is screaming, "Well, I was born in Mexico, but I'm a legal migrant and I can't be president." Yes, I understand that. There are rules. And one of the biggest rules is you have to be born in this country. You cannot be a naturalized citizen. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, who did a great job as a governor in California, cannot run for president. And that's sad because there are some governors and there are some congressmen and senators that are great human beings that probably would be great presidents, but because they're naturalized citizens and not born citizens, they can't serve. But that's how we designed it, okay? But what's great about this country is you can start off from nowhere and do great things. Now, whether you like his politics or you don't like his politics, would you think he's a great president or you didn't think he was a great president, he was a good man. Actually, I would probably amount to say a great man inside. The man, James Carter. Okay? And why do I say that? Because from when he left office to up to about 2022, he worked with Habitat for Humanity. And not just came out, took some pictures, smiled. The man swung a hammer, sawed. he built. That's his Christian side of him coming out, giving back. Because let's be honest, most presidents, they kind of slide off, right? Well, Obama got a Netflix deal, and Clinton got some book deals, and you get some things, right? But you kind of slide off into mediocrity. You show up every 4 years to try and oust the other party. But ultimately, when you leave the presidency, you don't have to really do anything. You got your Secret Service, you have your pension, you have free medical for the rest of your life. You can sit back and watch your grandbabies, great-grandbabies, whatever, right? But no, Carter chose to give back to the community and work with Habitat for Humanity. When he started, Habitat for Humanity wasn't very large. And not a lot of people knew about it. He brought them into the limelight. He brought them into the national stage where now everybody knows what Habitat for Humanity is. And he was one of their greatest spokespersons. And I know, and I remember seeing on the news throughout my life, of seeing him at these stages of these places building. And the last one, I mean, he was in his wheelchair, but he was still doing stuff. That's an amazing human being. That's an amazing man. And so the man inside, the man, Jimmy Carter, was a humble human being and a great man. The president may not have been a great president. Still ain't the worst president, Biden, but deep and down inside, a great Christian man. All right, and I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want people to get all sappy and think like I'm going to become a Democrat and all that. So on to sports, right? So I have season tickets to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My family and I were at the game last week against the Panthers. And a little duck decided to pay a visit. So we were getting ready for a punt from the Panthers. And this duck lands here.
Quack, quack.
I mean, I'm still, it's still funny.
J.J. Russell. Buccaneers doing it from all angles. Too many birds on the field. Just grab them. Just grab them.
I mean, we're watching. I got tears running down my face when we're in the stadium watching this.
Like,
I mean, my son sitting next to me, my wife, we're all laughing. We got a fellow chief that's sitting behind me with her husband. I mean, we're just, it's a riot, right? And so we're all screaming, Ducky, 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 right? Everybody was excited. Everybody was loving it in the stadium. Now, there's a reason why we're chanting Ducky, right? Obviously the duck. But one of our players, Bucky Irving, we always chant his name whenever he does something great. Bucky, Bucky, Bucky. Well, my son had to remind me that Bucky Irving was from the Oregon Ducks. That's where he played college football. Now, as we're all focused on this duck, right, I missed the block punt and a touchdown. A lot of the TV sportscasting missed the blocked punt, because we were all focused on the duck, So it's funny, and we have fun down in Tampa. The best part is yesterday's game against the Saints, they got the duck. They got this guy bringing in the duck. He's like a good luck charm all of a sudden now. They got Tom Brady interviewing the guy, and Tom Brady's trying to pet the duck. It's like. Well, we all know sports people, they can be superstitious, right? So it's like now this duck may be our good luck to the Super Bowl, because yesterday they clinched the wild card seat. So next Sunday we're going to go play the Washington Commanders at home for the wild card. So I don't know, but hey, keep that duck coming. Maybe he's good luck for us. Do I think we need good luck? Hell no. Baker Mayfield, Devontae David, Rashad White, Vita Vea, Mike Evans, Bucky Irving, so many other great players. We got a good team. I think we have a chance of maybe getting up in there. Speaking of Mike Evans matched Jerry Rice's record yesterday for over more than 1,000 yards receiving in 11 consecutive seasons. So for 11 seasons, every season, he got more than 1,000 receiving yards. That's awesome. Congratulations, Mike. I was so glad to see that happen. Last but not least for sports, December 14th was the Army-Navy game, a.k.a. the 125th American game. And Navy beat Army 31-13. Go Navy. Even though I grew up near West Point. Navy Chief, Navy Pride, baby. All right. You guys know this is going to come up. New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. All right. So first of all, it was around 3 a.m., New Year's Day, New Year's evening, whatever, going in. New Orleans had this guy drive around the police barriers in the French Quarter. So let's... Oh, that's the wrong one. Here we go. That white pickup truck right there is the New Orleans suspect. Now, right now, this camera's at Bourbon and Canal, right? So you can see that's just traffic, right? They got roads blocked off. So you see it's going down. It's going down. Now, right here, you're going to notice there's the police car. And right there, boom, right around, runs over the barricades, you gone. Causing hate and discontent, running over people. And eventually, the driver dies because he gets into a gunfight with the New Orleans Police Department. Well, at least the taxpayers won't have to pay for a trial and eventually kill him. But they did find ISIS propaganda and an ISIS flag in the truck. He was a U.S. Army veteran that had converted to Islam a few years ago. So do I think he's an ISIS plant? Do I think he's raised by ISIS? No, I think he converted and he just got radicalized by whatever. I don't know what radicalized him, but he got radicalized. But this is a perfect example, folks, of where the civilian law enforcement agencies need to learn how to harden incidents. Not incidents, but things that are going on, parades, Super Bowl, that kind of stuff, right? The U.S. military has done this great, and militaries in general. I mean, if you look at the videos of Normandy, right, the Germans had all these little jumping jack looking things to prevent the ships from getting near the shore. Well, they designed things like that. We had them in Kuwait. When I was working the ECPs in Kuwait, we had things like that for cars. And trust me, they stopped cars. And there are some amazing things the U.S. military has for entry control points to stop cars. And they're on the civilian market. In fact, the police commissioner of New Orleans, this crypt keeper, right? I mean, I don't know what crypt they pulled her out of, this DIE freaking hire. She says, I didn't know these things existed. I didn't know we had them. That's why we didn't use them. How do you know you didn't have them? I mean, what were they sitting in Texas? New Orleans Police Department has an inventory list. Everybody has an inventory list. Somewhere in their planning stage, somebody fucked up. And you know what? They need to hang and she needs to lose her job. The fact of the matter is that not being prepared, she said they were more focused and ready for the Super Bowl. God dang. New Orleans has Mardi Gras. You can't tell me you don't know how to prep for a New Year's Eve celebration. Really? I've been to Mardi Gras multiple times. I can tell you, those were before September 11th. They weren't very secure. They had cross streets driving across Bourbon as drunks are walking down Bourbon. But the fact of the matter is, putting up these little metal gates and these little orange cones doesn't do it. You have to harden. You have to use barricades that stop cars. This is not the old days, okay? New York had an incident where a guy drove over bicyclists. You had the marathon bomber, a guy in a truck at a Christmas parade in Minnesota. Folks, it's not going to get better, okay? In the 70s and 80s and 90s, we didn't have TSA, right? You checked in and everybody went to the gate. Your mommy dropped you off or your family dropped you off. No, now we have TSA, and TSA is never going away. Well, it's the same with this. Parades, Super Bowl, World Series, any kind of major event, it needs to be hardened now. I can tell you TPD doesn't do it very well for the Gasparilla parades. All they use is their metal things and some orange cones, maybe a police car here and there. I can definitely get around them. Definitely 100% can get around TPD and cause some hate and discontent in Tampa during those parades. New York City did a great job this year from what I heard from friends that were up there. They had dump trucks and vehicles blocking those roads. Dump truck, there you go. Got plenty of them, especially it's winter, man. If they don't spread salt like the 80s, I'm sure they spread sand. You got plenty of hard vehicles there. That's going to stop. So I am asking all those agencies out there, Start preparing. Start having these things ready for yourselves. If you know that you have major functions in your town, like Tampa, like major cities, or even some small town at Puxatawney Phil, have vehicle protected barricades so that you can't have these incidents anymore. Because obviously everyone wants to ban the guns when someone shoots somebody in a mass shooting, but no one's going to ban cars every time they run over 30 people at a freaking marathon. So let's grow up and start protecting our citizens. All right, so now we're on to Vegas. So let's watch this. That's the Cybertruck.
Copy.
That's the Cybertruck that blew up in front of Trump Hotel. Okay, so Green Beret Master Sergeant Matthew Livesberger, I hope I didn't hurt his name, he blew up a Tesla Cybertruck in front of a Trump hotel in Las Vegas, right? So he's active duty on leave from Germany. He rents this truck, fills it up with fireworks and fuel, gasoline, kerosene, drives up. Right before or during, I don't know if he had a time delay or not, but they were able to determine he shot himself before it actually exploded. So he probably had some kind of timer delay and all that. What amazes me as a Green Beret, you'd think he'd have more access to C4, TNT, nitro dynamite, all the big boy stuff, which makes me wonder how calculated he was about this explosion. Maybe it was just to make a statement. I know that putting it in a Tesla Cybertruck is a mistake, potentially, if he was planning to do damage and harm. The Tesla is not like a normal pickup truck because the back is covered and it's covered with the same type of material. He blew it with the cover closed, so that truck maintained and kept the explosion more inside the vehicle than an average pickup truck would. He could have done that by design because being a service member, he didn't want to harm anybody, but people did get injured. He did post that this was a wake-up call and not an act of terrorism. He wanted people in the military to wake up to what's going on in the world and in our country. And this was a call to stand up and arm up, and go against and fix this country. Well, I think Master Sergeant probably 100% suffered from PTSD. So whether he thinks it's domestic terrorism or not, the problem is as a Green Beret Master Sergeant, he should have known what he did was domestic terrorism. Okay, because he had a little manifesto. It's not, like the Unabomber, but he had a thing. And he 100%, it's not terrorism. It's a wake-up call. No, sir. I'm sorry, but it's terrorism. You killed yourself, blew up a car, and stated people needed to rise up and that veterans need to rise up. First of all, no one should ever do that. I'm going to tell you that right now. Do not try to hurt people and rise up. There's better ways to, if you don't like your government, you vote people out. That's what's great about this country, okay? Now, I've lost friends to suicide. I've lost fellow police officers to suicide. I've lost fellow service members to suicide. And I lost a brother to suicide. If you're truly, now, a lot of those had nothing to do with politics, but if you truly have a political statement, like he did, he had a political statement, whether he thinks he did or not, which is probably part of the PTSD, killing yourself isn't going to help help your statement. In fact, to me, he used the cowardly way. He didn't even let the explosion kill him. He killed himself. He shot himself. Then the car blew up. So he's a coward. He couldn't even go fully through with it. And I know I'm going to get some shit for that, but suicide is a coward way out. Okay. And I hate to say that because I've lost friends like that, but it's a permanent fix for a temporary issue. And I can't accept the repercussions from it. okay? The repercussions, all the people that are hurt afterwards from suicide, all the family members, all the friends, all the loved ones that now have to go through life without that person. Because of his actions, right? Because of his selfish actions, because of his domestic terrorism, he now put every veteran in the United States of America in the crosshairs of the federal, state, and local governments. Nancy Pelosi, many years ago, called for a national registration of veterans that had purchased weapons that came back from the Middle East, because they were afraid that we would either cause mass shootings or try and uprise against the government. Now, the problem is people, you have to understand, most veterans in this country will lay their life down for you and your family. I spent 27 years in the military and 20 years as a police officer, and I was willing every day when I got up and put my uniform on that I could die for you and your family. And any mission that I was told to do. That's what I did, okay? I love this country, and almost every single veteran loves this country. But when we talk shit about the government, it's different. You can love your country and not like your government. There's a big difference. The government does shady things. I've seen the federal government do shady things. I've seen my local government do shady things. Government can do shady things. So you can still love your country, but not like your government. Now, when you do stuff like this Master Sergeant did, you now bring this bad light on all of us. Just like one bad cop beating somebody down makes all cops look bad. So just remember, you see that vet walking down, he's got his shirt proud, Vietnam veteran, Gulf War veteran. Just because they have that doesn't mean that they're going to snap and kill you, okay? And I hate every law enforcement agency that has shoved that down their police officers' throats too. Because I know too many cops at my agency that thought that. And I tried to kill that stigma and try and make people realize that most vets that call and ask for help, they're meant to be treated like human beings, not like they're a loaded weapon ready to go off. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that because I'll go on forever. Now, I'm not a big conspiracy guy, though I like to throw little tacks and little darts at it. So I am, unfortunately, going to throw some darts at these two incidents and throw some conspiracy things at you. So the FBI says these two aren't connected. Let's remember, the FBI also said at first the New Orleans incident was not terrorism. It was just some drunk that got around, right? And then they had to backtrack because they found ISIS shit. And they go, oh, no, we were wrong. It was domestic terrorism. So, can we really trust the FBI? Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't trust the FBI. I haven't trusted the FBI in years. But based on that information, here comes one of my darts. Both the New Orleans suspect and the Las Vegas suspect rented both their vehicles from Turo. Turo is an internet site like an Airbnb, but for rental cars. Okay, so they both use that site. And I feel bad for the owners because I can't think that the Cybertruck owner's insurance company's going to cover that truck. I don't think there's a clause in there that goes, if I rent my vehicle to a private person and he blows it up, I get paid. I feel bad. But they both use the same site to rent their cars. One. Here's another dart. Both of them were stationed at Fort Bragg and Fort Liberty in Afghanistan at the same time. Now, can I say that they knew each other? No. Can I say they didn't know each other? No. Can I say that they never saw each other? Nope. But it's convenient that they were both at those bases at the same time. And let's throw another dart at Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg is related to the Mar-a-Lago Trump assassination. That's right. That guy was at Fort Bragg multiple times before the shooting. Is there something going on at Fort Bragg? Maybe DOD needs to look at what's going on in Fort Bragg, because that's kind of weird, right? Then again, it all could be circumstantial. And then it could, 100%. I'm just putting it out there, okay? Now, after hearing those two incidents, later in the day, I heard that there was a shooting in New York City. It was at the Amazura nightclub, I hope I said it right, in Jamaica, Queens, where they were celebrating the life of a 16-year-old that was shot and killed. And unfortunately, that group of people got attacked and shot at. Do I think it's related to the other two? No. But being a prior military guy, being a prior law enforcement guy, you're watching all this news about these two incidents, boom, 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 boom. And all of a sudden, a shooting in New York City. Boop, ears perked right up. But as soon as I heard and I saw all the stuff, I realized it wasn't connected. And surprisingly enough, I've only seen 2 reports about it because it's not national news. Now, to me, it would be national news because New York City has a crime issue and they need to report it to get people aware. This just, New York City needs help. So, but again, totally not related. Now, speaking of New York City, did you hear on December 22nd, an illegal Guatemalan migrant burned and killed a woman on the New York subway? Walked right up, lit her on fire, sat down and watched. And people videotaped it. No one stopped him. No one stopped to put her out. She died because of the burns. The police commissioner, Jessica Tisch, described the incident as one of the most depraved crimes one person could possibly commit against another human being. And nobody did anything. That's the Daniel Penny effect. Daniel Penny got taken to jail for protecting people. So no one did anything to protect this woman. Folks, it's ridiculous of what's going on in the New York City subways. That poor woman burned to death. And this immigrant shouldn't even be in the country. Shit, he was already deported once. He snuck into this country, got caught, got deported, and snuck back into this country and committed this heinous crime. So tell me how the border is not an issue. How sanctuary cities and sanctuary states aren't causing these problems. You tell me that, right? You got immigrants killing a college student in Georgia, little girl in Texas. You got Venezuelan gangs running around in Colorado. Tell me how these sanctuary cities and sanctuary states aren't the ones causing these problems. These people are coming over knowing that these places will protect them. So they'll just do whatever they want, right? Police officers getting attacked by them in New York City. Folks, there are Democratic governors and mayors right now have been quoted as saying they will do everything in their power to stop President Trump and border czar Tom Holman from deporting anyone from their state or city. In fact, this is a quote I've heard multiple times. It's almost like everyone has the same sheet. We will do everything in our power to protect our citizens. If they're illegal immigrants, they are not citizens. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. If they're illegally in this country, they're illegal immigrants and they're not citizens. What you're doing is you're not protecting your tax-paying base, your tax-paying citizens who pay your salaries. You're putting them in jeopardy so that you can look good politically. So you know what? You basically are pissing on the oath of office that you took when you became a governor, a mayor, whatever. Okay? I'll even throw you another one, right? The New York State governor. I'm not letting anyone be deported from the state of New York. This is the same woman that allowed a SWAT team to go to a farm to seize a pet squirrel and pet raccoon, kill those animals to see if they had rabies. And I told you guys in a video prior, I worked as a vet tech for a while. If it's true what this person said, that both those animals were abandoned as babies and he raised them from babies, there was no way in hell they had rabies. And the test showed they didn't have rabies. But they used a SWAT team to go get a squirrel and a raccoon. But she's not going to allow a criminal rapist from Venezuela to be deported. Listen, folks, Trump doesn't want to deport Abuela, who's been here 30 years, okay? He wants to go after the criminals. He wants to go after the guys that are killing girls running from college, the DUIs that slide into a bus full of kids, the gang members. He wants criminals. not the guy that's mowing your lawn, okay? So stop believing that false narrative that comes out of Biden's mouth and the Democratic Party's mouth. These are the same liars that are telling you that the white nationalists are the greatest threat to America. No, they're not. The greatest threat to America is illegals coming into this country that we don't control and know who they are. People from Iran have been caught. People from Iraq, China, people that are related to Hezbollah, people that are related to ISIS are being caught. Those are the ones being caught. How many gotaways? The greatest threat to America is radical Islam. I know a lot of friends of mine that are Muslim. I have friends that are Muslim. I learned a lot about Islam when I was in Kuwait, and I worked with some great Kuwaiti naval officers that were all Muslim. It's the radical Islam, ISIS, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Iranian government. Those idyllic, radicalized Islam, those Muslims are the danger to this country, not white nationalists. White nationalists was a ball that the Democratic Party threw out to scare everybody. It didn't work. Trump got more minority votes than any Republican ever got. So don't scream and yell. The only reason why Trump's in office is white nationalists and white racists. Give that up. On to the next false narrative, please. Speaking of Biden again, he gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom. God. The Presidential Medal of Freedom to Hillary Clinton and George Soros. That's like God giving Satan his halo and his wings back. What in God's name? Those two have so many bodies hidden in the closets from them. Now, Michael J. Fox, yeah, he deserves it. But I've never truly felt that award has had any bite anymore since the days of Obama. When he handed out like 185 or 115, just handed them out. One of them was to Oprah. It was like Oprah's show. You get a medal, you get a medal, you get a medal, you get a medal. That thing doesn't mean anything when you hand it to people that are disgusting human beings. Hillary Clinton is the reason why some men died over in an embassy without help. George Soros, he put in so many freaking DAs that are letting all these criminals out on the streets. These two people are not good for America. Hence why Hillary Clinton tried to run for president twice, never made it. This country does need change. I'll give the Master Sergeant that. We do need change. We need to wake up. We don't need to kill people. We don't need to blow shit up. This isn't the Middle East. This isn't a third world country. We are the freest country in this world. We need change. And how we do that change is we vote. And we protest legally and peacefully. And we get people to hear the truth. Expose the lies. Enhance the truth. And vote. God damn, that's the best part about this country. Vote, 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 vote. I hated when Biden and Kamala always said, vote, vote, vote. But damn it, that's the way you get change. You vote. Or you get involved. You become a council member or a city council member or a mayor or a state senator or a federal senator. Get involved. And if you don't want to be a politician, get involved with their offices or the stuff that they preach. Get involved with Habitat for Humanity like President Carter did. Do something great for this country, okay? And with that being said, I fully believe Habitat for Humanity is a great organization. If you can give your time to them or you can give some money to them, please, please do. Great organization. There are many great organizations out there for veterans and law enforcement officers that are suffering from PTSD. Brothers and sisters, if you're out there suffering from PTSD, please seek help. Call the VA, call Wounded Warrior, call your friend, call your mother, call anybody. Shoot. Somewhere in here, there's an email from me. Email me. Don't go down the path of suicide. There is somebody. I don't want to see you die. There's someone out there that needs you in their life. I suffer from PTSD at times because of things that have happened to me. But I'm still trekking through. I'm still doing my job. I'm still living life. Everyone deserves to live life. Reach out when you're suffering. With that, folks, I'm out. See you next time.